you do have one guy who, yeah, he's smaller, but he's a top fighter. He can punch, and he's fighting a guy who's not a top pro fighter, who's bigger.
I can see Tank just outboxing him and making it real easy.
Davis is a violent human being. He's a savage, and he didn't feel in his element. It's a real thing. It's a real thing. If you're from the hood, you will know.
Two boxing experts are in near agreement. Jake Paul stands little to no chance against Gervonta Tank Davis. Shakur Stevenson explains that despite Jake's massive size advantage, it won't be enough to save him once he steps in the ring. Stevenson believes Tank's superior technique, timing, and experience will allow him to control the entire fight. He predicts that Tank may not even chase a knockout since Jake's size makes him harder to drop, but he'll still dominate the bout from start to finish and win convincingly by decision.
Difference between these two guys.
I mean, styles will play some part of the fight, but if I'm thinking like I'm Tank, I'm probably just gonna go out there and try to outbox him and use my knowledge and IQ against him. So I can see Tank just outboxing him and making it real easy.
Is there any way any realistic or legitimate way in your mind you could see Jake Paul winning a fight against Tank?
No.
No way.
Nope.
Not a lot of people have talked about Jake and say he's got good power. Not even and I get anything could technically happen, but you don't even see a realistic shot where he could land one big punch, and Tank being so much smaller, he just can't handle the power.
Nah, not at all. I think Tank is he's been boxing his whole life. Been boxing since a kid, so I doubt like that's gonna be an issue or problem. I think Jake is good for where he's at, but I think it's just levels.
Do you see a more likely chance that Tank wins by decision or by knockout?
By decision. I mean, that guy's too big. I don't think that he's just gonna knock that guy out. So I see him like outboxing him.
Could you see a realistic possibility where Tank could knock him out? Although more likely that it is, like you just said, a decision.
Nah, I don't see him knocking him out, no.
Will you watch, Shakur? I mean,
no.
Obviously, no?
Hell no, nah, that ain't really like, I mean, like I said, here's the thing, like I got two sides of me when it comes down to, I got a business side, then I got a competitor side. And from the competitive aspect, it don't excite me for me to be like, okay, I wanna watch it.
Biz. The adult breaks it down further, reminding fans that Gervonta Davis has already handled taller, stronger opponents before, most notably Ryan Garcia. Ryan was not only bigger, but faster and more explosive, yet Tank calmly adjusted, found his rhythm, and knocked him out. Showbiz argues that if Tank could close the distance on a fighter like Ryan, then Jake Paul, who lacks that same professional pedigree, won't fare any better. He explains that boxing isn't about muscles or size. It's about timing, ring IQ, and distance control. And in those areas, Tank is elite. Once Jake steps into the ring, Showbiz says, Tank's ability to read movement and set traps will take over instantly. 3.
Emotionally, see if he's rattled. See, when it's all said and done, the whole talking shit goes out the window. Jake's scared. And let me tell you this, too. I looked at I'm sizing them up. I'm looking at Tank and Jake, and I'm looking at them. Tank can reach him too. He reached Ryan Garcia. He reached Mario Barrios. I was like, he ain't gonna be able to reach him. He's gonna reach him. I saw Tank's gonna reach him. He knows he's gonna reach him. Listen, I want to say this too. Funny as hell. Before I say all this, Alicia Baumgartner, shout out to you, girl. I couldn't believe out of all the women to be the first one to do 3 minute, 12 rounds. It's Alicia Baumgartner. Not really known for having great endurance, great stamina, and she's doing this shit. Shout out to Alicia Baumgartner. Because, what's her name, Layla? I don't really know her like that. But she looks like she ain't rattled by Alicia, so that's a perfect dance partner for that. Trying to drag Alicia Baumgartner into lake water, see what's going on with that. Shout out to Alicia Baumgartner. But let's get back to Tank. First of all, Tank knows what he's doing. Tank Davis, he said, what he was just making all these implications that it's going to be scripted. When he said, you're paying me, and then he was like, yo, you're going to have to give me extra. And then he said that this is scripted.
At the end of the day, I gave this little guy an opportunity. He should be thanking me. I'm paying him. I'm his boss. He reports to me, and I'm going to fucking son him on November 14th. So fuck you, little man.
You paying me? Are you paying me?
Yeah.
100%. 100%. Facts?
Correct.
Yes? Correct?
Correct. I'm your daddy.
What?
Chris Algieri praises Gervonta Davis for transforming into one of boxing's biggest attractions. He notes that modern boxing isn't just about skill, it's about star power, charisma, and who can fill arenas. Tank, according to Algieri, represents this new wave perfectly. Every time he fights, the sport feels alive again. At the same time, Algieri acknowledges that Jake Paul, despite his lack of technical skill, has played an equally important role by bringing new audiences to boxing, people who otherwise wouldn't have watched. He concludes that both men, in their own ways, are vital to keeping the sport exciting and relevant, appealing to completely different fan bases.
About the face of boxing could be Jake Paul soon, and the face of boxing is basically. Yeah, the face of boxing now is based on if you sell and if people tune in and how many eyes are tuning in when you fight. Gervonta Davis had that. Jake Paul has that. Now they're fighting each other.
Again,
Truly,
these are created
after
products. These are still created products. Jake made his name going to Walgreens and then making funny faces. You know what I mean? And then it was just blowing up on YouTube and whatnot, right? I mean, that's how he started.
The world we live in now, dude. It's unfortunate. Okay, so, it's not like Sugar Ray Leonard, who was the best fighter in the world and marketable. It's not like Oscar De La Hoya, who was a gold medalist, great fighter and marketable.
But what I'm saying is technology allows us to make, if I want to take this shoe off right here, and I say I want to make my Nike sneaker into the best product possible, and I got enough money to push it behind it. I put it all over your social media platform, and I put it all over your TV set and all over your phone and all over. You know what, bro? You're gonna start to get curious about the shoe.
Charleston White, however, completely dismisses Jake Paul's boxing career, calling it entertainment dressed up as sport. He argues that none of Jake's bouts have had the authenticity of real professional fights. They're staged events built for clicks, not competition. White insists that Jake has yet to face a true elite-level boxer who could test his endurance, skill, and mental toughness. To him, Jake's success is built on spectacle rather than substance. He warns that if Jake ever faces someone like Gervonta Davis, the difference between a YouTuber and a real-world champion would be exposed instantly. In White's words, popularity doesn't build legends. Real fights do.
YouTube boxing and what people say is going on in the media, without a doubt, I think Charleston White is 100% right about that. Don't believe anything you hear. Don't believe anything you see. Wait to see how things play out, and ultimately everything will come out in the wash. Well, going into this fight with Gervonta Davis, I had my concerns about the fight because of the same type of reasoning that Charleston White used, except for mine is slightly different. I don't think that either one of these guys are going to try to do too much damage to each other. Number one, because if it's scripted, which more than likely to an extent it will be, Gervonta Davis is not going to put himself in a situation where Jake Paul is going to actually be able to hurt him. And with these 12-ounce gloves on top of Gervonta Davis's hands, which is bigger, 2 ounces bigger, I do believe.
Legendary trainer and commentator Teddy Atlas compares the idea of Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis to when Jake's brother, Logan Paul, fought Floyd Mayweather. He acknowledges Jake's physical advantage, but insists that Tank's experience, balance, and control will make the difference. Atlas calls Tank a dancer in the ring, a fighter who dictates rhythm and pace with every movement. He emphasizes that Tank's precision and ring intelligence have been forged through years of facing dangerous, elite opponents. In contrast, Jake lacks the sharp instincts and composure that come only with experience at the top level. Atlas summarizes it perfectly. Boxing isn't about size, it's about mastery. And Tank masters everything he does.
So I liked this when I heard it? No, I didn't like it, to be honest, for the optics and everything else I just said. But you do have one guy who, yeah, he's smaller, but he's a top fighter, he can punch. And he's fighting a guy who's not a top pro fighter, who's bigger. What if he hits him on the chin? What if he hits him on the chin? It'll wind up selling. And that's what'll wind up selling it. The what if. What if Tank makes him do a cha-cha? He hits him on the chin, and Jake Paul, we're gonna find out if he can dance. Whoa, 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 whoa. You know, do the cha-cha. That's what's gonna sell it. And you can't argue that what if. You can't. I know I get to places that other people won't go and everything else, that just dismiss stuff because it's easier to do that. It's safer to do that. You don't have the bows and arrows coming at you from people that argue with you because you did that, but I don't care. I've had bows and arrows my whole life. I don't care. But that's true. That what if this guy who is a real good puncher, who is one of the best fighters in the world right now, what if he hits him? What if he makes a miss and he counters him? Or he jumps up in the air? Bang!